Hi, and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to look at diagrams showing how Equities Lab is laid out. For a time, I was confused using operators such as since, across, while, ever, rank, top, bottom, and over. Where is my search actually going to find the data? Walking down the street one day with one of the architects of the system, Henry Crutcher, I explained my confusion. I was trying to lay out things like seats in a theater. No, not at all, he said. I had to turn my theater on its side to make it work. I couldn't see it and was growing irritated. We stopped at an intersection held back by a school guard. We chatted with her, and when the light changed, poof, it all fell in place. I came up with this graphical layout. The Grandmaster Henry approved it. Let's start with the blue box labeled Library of Stocks. The library is full of records about thousands of stocks over tens of years. This data is leased from Morningstar in Chicago. Every evening we update this data on our computers in Atlanta. The data spins on disk drives, but I like to picture the library as a large building with its data organized in a three-dimensional grid. The company's information is laid out alphabetically from left to right in ticker name order. Searches start with ticker A, Allergen Technology, at the far left end of my imaginary building. The search ends at the far right end on ticker ZZ for Sealy. Information is stored by date vertically. Old files are in the basement, new files are on top. Every day after the market closes, that day's information is added to the top. The library building grows taller. The disk drives get fuller. A new digital floor is downloaded to the top of the building. If you make a search without a date, the information on the top layer will be what you will be analyzing, ticker by ticker, left to right, from ticker A to ticker ZZ. If you identify one or more dates in your search, the information on the lower levels will be accessed. Now, as you remember, each company record has many properties. I picture these running in long halls from the front of the building to the back. As you walk in the front, you'll see properties like accounts payable and accounts receivable. The properties write down and write off are near the back door. Each property has an assigned row for all stocks. If you scan for PE, your search will examine the data in just that row for all stocks from A to ZZ. Notice the purple column to the right. What is it? It's an external data. An example is the Consumer Price Index on Quandl. It is just one property. It is stored in date order. The purple column represents a flat column of numbers with the newest on top. Next, let's look at what I've called the Librarian, the red star in the diagram. Our developers call it the server or host. It's a large series of programs written in the Python computer language on powerful PCs running Unix operating systems. You see none of this directly. The program on your PC or Mac is represented by one of the hexagonal icons on the chart. It works hand in glove with the librarian or server. It sends and receives information over the internet using a language called YAML. The architect of this sophisticated program on your computer is Emily Crutcher. It is written in the Oracle's Java language. In Atlanta, when your request arrives, the librarian pulls the information out of the library and returns the answer back to you. A simple request proceeds through the library just once, gathering up requested information. Unlike many competitive systems, we allow you to create searches that require several trips through the library. For example, you can ask the librarian to find a group of stocks, then rank them according to some property, only returning the stocks that fall within a range you define. The areas shown as work tables to the lower left represent the staging areas where intermediate results are stored, sorted, and ranked. Notice also the area at the right end of the library called Work Panels. All kinds of information about selected stocks may be stored here during backtesting. The librarian sends these details to your user's program for plotting, listing, and calculating interesting ratios. The Equities Lab program on your computer is spared the heavy lifting and storing of all this data. You start by creating specific questions using the EquiHack language. The librarian doesn't even know what you're up to until you press the Go button. Your program sends your question over the internet and stands by awaiting an answer. The librarian then goes to work, and when it is finished, it sends the answer back to your computer as a burst of information. It is then free to work on requests from other users. You are free to examine your returned information as graphs with multiple plots on them, tables of information, bar graphs, pie graphs, heat maps of selected stocks, tear sheets, and scatter diagrams. This is just an overview. As you dig into the system, you will realize that many additional processes, scans, calculations, and displays come into play. Sometimes you may have to wait several minutes for an answer that requires multiple passes through the library, group by group. Things have certainly changed a bit since the early 1880s, when Mr. Dow and Jones produced their daily newsletter by hand for 11 stocks. I hope this helps you understand more of what is going on behind the scenes of your computer. Thanks for watching.